a rare sit-down with ESPN chairman Jimmy Pitaro. We discuss his controversial talent strategy, his bet-the-house move to sell ESPN outside the cable bundle, and how he's managing the widespread disruption hitting his industry.
You are operating in a world now where the cost of sports rights, major sports rights, keeps going up, and cable subscribers keep going down. It's not really much you can do about that. You're part of a larger ecosystem. I know you have a lot of priorities. You've talked about this before. It strikes me that there's a world where you can do all of those things, but there's a general acceptance from you and Bob Iger, your boss, that the new normal is an ESPN that's simply not as profitable as it once was. Are you okay living in that world?
Well, look, we're navigating through a storm. We all know people are cutting the cord at a higher clip than they have in the past. If you look at the past few years, 7-8% fewer households watching television. That's a great business model. It has been a great business model to ESPN and to the Walt Disney Company. And when that business model is in decline, you have to adjust. And that's what we're doing right now. We are not sitting idle here. Bob and I talk all the time about disrupting ourselves, which is what we are doing right now. You know, we're planning on launching our primary channels, direct to consumer, a la carte, over the top. And that will be even more disruptive to that traditional ecosystem. But from my perspective, we are going to value ourselves based on the totality of people that are subscribing to ESPN. And so there are parallel paths going here, right? We will continue to make our content available in the traditional ways through cable and satellite, and that will continue to be an important part of our business. But at the same time, we will make our flagship network, our networks, available direct to consumer, and then we're going to evaluate ourselves, judge ourselves, based on the totality of subscribers.
So part of what I want to do in general, what we want to do as CNBC in general with this CNBC Sport venture, is take people inside the business of it, the management of it. So I listed a bunch of things there. Yeah. Can you walk me through how you set your day? Like, how do you prioritize on a day-to-day basis with all of those different things you have to do?
So I've been at Disney for 14 years. Half of that time has been at ESPN. And so if you fast forward to today, my days are very different than they were when I first started at ESPN. When I first started, it was learning the culture, really understanding the business, building relationships with the leagues. That was a huge priority of mine out of the gate. Making sure that ESPN Plus, which launched 1 month after I started, making sure that that was a success. A big part of my background has been tech, so I felt like I could add a lot of value out of the gate on the ESPN Plus side, so that was a huge part of my focus. But again, fast forward to today, my days are very different. I'm thinking much more about audience expansion. I'm thinking more long term. I'm thinking about how younger people are accessing content today, especially sports content. How invested should we be on third-party platforms like social? And making sure that our resources are going towards the right initiatives, working on our 5-year plan, our 10-year plan. And then I'd say probably my number one priority and where I'm spending the most time now is on flagship.
Is there one innovation that you're particularly excited about consumers being able to use?
I have long wanted a personalized sports center, long before I even got to ESPN. And we are hard at work on this right now. So I am a Yankees, Giants, Knicks, Rangers, Notre Dame fan. And so when I fire up SportsCenter, if those teams had played the night or day before, I want to see those highlights first. And then you have kind of lowest common denominator highlights after that. And so we are hard at work on that, talking to potential partners on the outside to help power it.
I want to talk about talent strategy. What is your North Star in terms of deciding, does this person fit with the mission or does this person not fit with the mission going forward?
Look, a lot of the changes that we've made on the talent side in terms of role elimination have been financially driven. I can't tell you that we've let go of any talent based on performance. That has happened, over the years, but I think the changes that you're referring to, those have mostly been driven by financial and considerations and not performance. We have a really good talent department that rolls up to Burke Magnus, who leads our content group, and we do regular research on folks, and we look at folks who we think can deliver, can represent the ESPN brand well, and can move the needle from a ratings or reach perspective. Who are the folks who actually sports fans tune in for? I think Stephen A. is a great example of someone that we see folks tuning in specifically for, someone who moves the needle. But at the same time, I will tell you, we have a really deep bench. And one of the things that we pride ourselves on at ESPN is developing talent. Identifying talent and then helping them progress their careers, advance their careers, take on more responsibility.